In this video, we're going to be replacing the voltage regulator on this 2009 Ducati 1198S. I was out riding it the other day and I got an error that said BAT 5.1, and after doing a little bit of research, that points to the voltage regulator starting to go out. Some other symptoms were that the headlights wouldn't turn on, the turn signals worked kind of funky, and there was just random little electrical gremlins. And as I rode it more, it went away. That's never good because that says something is starting to go out. It makes you want to get back home as soon as you can. So the voltage regulator on these bikes is mounted right here where the exhaust manifold is, and it gets extremely hot and it kills them prematurely. So as a part of this procedure, I'm not only going to be replacing the voltage regulator, I'm going to be installing an uprated one called a MOSFET voltage regulator, and I'm going to remount it to the other side of the bike where it's a bit cooler, hoping to mount it here to the timing belt covers. I'm gonna have to make up my own bracket, so we'll see how that goes, but getting it out of that hot area should help prolong the life of the new voltage regulator. So I've pulled the old voltage regulator out of the bike, and here are all of the materials I need to install the new style voltage regulator. So here is the new style voltage regulator itself. It is made by Shindingen or something like that, and you want to make sure you get that brand, because if you don't, you're getting some aftermarket recreation of this and that won't last. Now, I did buy this as a universal installation kit from a company called Modelectrics, but a lot of different suppliers sell these things. Some just sell them the voltage regulators, some sell them with special harnesses for specific bikes. I decided that I'm just gonna go ahead and create my own adapter harness for this because this has different connectors than the old style regulator. So this is considered a MOSFET regulator that is supposedly a superior design than the original one. This runs a lot cooler and it should last a very long time. So you can see here's the old voltage regulator, and I've cut all the wires off because I'm using the pigtails from this to create my own custom harness to adapt to the new regulator. So this regulator came with the connectors I need to build out and all of the splices I need to put on so that I can adapt the old harness to the new one. So a good idea is to pick up these Ducati style connector blocks just in case yours have melted. Mine are actually in good shape. I didn't know that, so I went ahead and bought these, but I'm going to go ahead and use the old ones. So what I've done here is I've cut the pigtails off the old regulator, and since I'm going to mount the regulator on the other side of the bike, I'm going to have to extend this. So I went out and bought some 12 gauge yellow copper core stranded wire. This automotive grade, so it's very flexible. And I've already extended this harness. It's just crimp connectors that I've put some heat shrink over there so it looks nice and clean. And really, crimp connectors are the best way to extend or splice an automotive wiring harness. Not that long ago, I would have thought that soldering would have been the best way, but really when you're in a situation where there's a lot of vibration, such as on a motorcycle like this, solder can break, and you really want to have a mechanical crimp on those wires so it doesn't ever come loose. So that's what I've done here. So this is for the stator wires. So you can see there's 3 wires there. It's a 3-pin connector. And the other one is for the power wires. So the original Ducati connectors are 4-pin, but really there's only 2 wires. It's just Ducati split it off into 2 for the negative and 2 for the positive. So what I've done here is reduced each of the 2 wire pairs into a single wire. So I've gone from, I think this is a 12 gauge wire, up to a 10 gauge wire right here. And these wires were actually supplied in the regulator kit, so I just went ahead and used those. So again, the connectors aren't on the ends of these because I'm not quite sure how long this extension needs to be. I'll only know that once I've fitted up the regulator to the bike. So those are the wiring harnesses you'll have to do. Again, these are the connectors for the regulator. I'll have to put those onto these wires. And then over here, I had to make an adapter kit because I'm going to mount this regulator to the timing belt cover. So this will install something like this, and then the regulator will mount to that. And you'll see how that goes once we actually go to install it. So this is just made out of aluminum plate I had lying around. I just cut it out to shape so that this would fit. I triangulated 3 bolt holes in the timing belt cover, so that should hold it nice and secure. I also had to run out and get 65mm long M6 bolts, and I created some spacers here to kind of keep this adapter plate off the timing belt covers so that airflow can get behind it and cool it down. Got some washers on here, so it just gives it a more finished look. But when all this is installed, it should look like a pretty well thought out design. Now you can buy one of these adapter kits that even comes with the wiring harness. I've seen them for sale from the UK, about $120. I just didn't want to wait for it. I wanted to get this done now, so I just decided to retrofit my own kit. It's pretty simple if you can dedicate a day to designing it all out. All in, I have under $20 worth of materials to make this work. This rectifier kit was about $130, so all in about $150 to make sure this bike has a proper charging system that won't let you down while you're out there riding. All right, let's get this thing installed. So that is very securely mounted, no vibration between the mount and the regulator. Now it's time to get the wiring harness rigged up. So here is our power wire connector, 4-block connector. Again, we have modified the old pigtail from the old regulator to be reduced down to just 2 large wires. Just plug that in. Then just route this through above the exhaust header to the other side of the bike. And the same story for our stator wires. These blocks are still in good condition, so here are the wires pulled through below the cylinder head but above the oil cooler lines. That kind of keeps it away from the exhaust manifold, but even still, it's still going to be very hot right here, so I'm going to put some of this heat insulating wrap. It's got fiberglass on the inside. Just wrap the wires around there. It also serves as a little bit of a buffer against that heat shield right there so we don't accidentally cut into the wires over time. Now it's time to start pinning these connectors. You can see we have tons of extra wire here, so we'll have to cut them off. Probably about right there would be a good length. And get the connector set up. Now it's time to do the stator wires, and there is no order to these. You can stick them into the connector any way you want. It doesn't matter. So just follow the same procedure here. And there we are. Regulator installed and wired up. Now it's time to hook up the battery and see if it starts. Fairings back on, you can just make out the regulator right there inside of this vent on the right side, and it looks nicely packaged. Should get much better cooling there, and it is plenty far away from the engine where it won't absorb too much heat from that. So that is a result, and it's not touching the fairings on the inside. It is just like perfectly fitted. I'm very happy with that result. So that should mean I shouldn't have any surprises while out riding, at least not electrical ones. Fingers crossed. I wish I could say that was the last issue remaining with this bike, but unfortunately another one has cropped up. It's something going on with the front brake calipers. So we will attack that in the next video. Until then, we'll see you guys again next time.